So this is the first pack, and we got some pretty good options to us here. Some very nice options. This is tricky. Genesis Hydra being the rare here is a very nice rare, as I'm pretty sure it basically cannot be removed by damage spells or within combat and stuff. Like a murder would still get rid of it. Things like that, direct removal. But from reading that, it sounds that if it was to be dealt damage, it doesn't actually take the damage, and it will just basically increase its health and attack straight away. Otherwise, if it does take the damage first, and then if it lives, it gets that buff, then it's not as good as it first seems, because a 2 damage spell like Burn, for example, would just kill it before it even gets to do that effect where it gets the buff, which wouldn't make it as good as it seems. I mean, maybe that's probably how it is going to work, just because it probably would be too strong if it just couldn't take any sort of damage. So it probably will still take the damage, and then if it lives, it gets increased. It would be my guess. So it would work well in decks with like Inspire troops, so that way you can hopefully bring it into play with more health, so it's harder to just take out with a burn or something like that easily. So if you can buff it up to say 3 or 4 when it comes into play, or just after it comes into play, then hopefully they can't just obviously if they've got a murder, then you're shit out of luck. But yeah, so can't really guarantee on how good this actually is. It's still a good card either way. But yeah, then we've got the Thunderbird, which is a very nice card, and an Inner Conflict here, which is nice removal. So yeah, it makes it pretty tricky out of those 3. I think I will just take the Hydra here. Sure, why not? I will take it. So on to the next pack. We've got we've got Repel, so another good removal. Separ's Charge is also a decent removal, just because you can chuck it into play, and then they've got that threat, and they're like, well, if I play my little cheap guy here, he's probably just going to die straight away. So it makes your opponent think twice. I probably will take the Concubunny here, just because you can just keep, as long as I pick up a few other Shinheo, you can just, so I could have the Champion, for example, that allows you to create Shinheo with the 3 charge power, and that way, even if I was to get this early in the game, I could still start using it and making those battle hoppers, which, even though they're not that great, they are still something you can use as blockers. But I think I probably might just take the Repel. So obviously I've only got 1 card, so I can still go Diamond or whatever else I want at this stage, and Repel's a nice removal. So yeah, I'll take the Repel. Buccaneer. See, what I might actually try to do here is, obviously I don't have to stick with these colours yet, but I may try and make a tricolour deck here. This is actually really, really nice for Shinheo. Had I took that Concubunny and then picked up this, that would have been a nice start to a Shinheo deck, because this one just gives you 1 resource basically for every Shinheo you control, so you start getting a lot of mana if you've got, even if you only have a 2 or 3 Shinheo out, that's still 2 or 3 extra resources every turn, and that'll just keep getting bigger, especially with the previous card that can just keep creating battle hoppers. You're just gonna have plenty and plenty of resources. So yeah, since I didn't do that though, I might just take the Buccaneer, and then maybe we can make a tricolour deck. We'll see what happens. It's another Buccaneer and a Mirror Knight. I will take the Mirror Knight here, because counter is always a good thing. Hopefully, it's unlikely he'll come back around, but if he does, he does. If not, too bad. Corpse Fly's a nice card here. can get rid of cards from your opponent's hand. If you get it early on, you're likely to get that effect. But yeah, we're not gonna be picking that. That's pretty much. There's one blue card, there's one green, two green, and no one diamond. But that's a pretty crappy diamond card for its cost. I mean, it's not horrible, but not the best. Then again, like just with what I've got, I've got a Buccaneer. If he dies, I could bring him back, put him into my hand, and then use him again to screw with my opponent some more. So he may actually be the better choice here, just because these aren't that great of cards. The honeycap I don't rate that much at all, especially if I do try to do a tricolour deck here. You would never really want to get something like this because you're not going to have much wild resources, so you wouldn't want to pick something like that in a tricolour. The Shinhan Militia is good. You saw a 1-drop. You got P. I will take the Captain here just because that way, if I do pick up some other good cards that when they come into play they have a nice effect, you can always do it again. So there's that. Probably the better pick here would for me. There's a good 1-drop, so I will take that. The Kraken Guard Mariner gives your troops +1 health when they come into play. I will take the Grunts of the Litter. It's a very cost-effective card. Getting 3 troops, and it's only a 2 cost as well with 1 threshold. See, because I am going to go tricolour here, I don't really want to get 2 threshold on cards. That's fine. 1 even better. I don't really want to get too many with, say, 3 threshold, because that's tricky to play in tricolour. So yeah, and generally it should be pretty easy to get away with 2 threshold. A lot of cards, there's not too many that I've seen that are 3 threshold. Generally 2 is where it's at. A lot of 1s obviously. So from this pack, so yeah, green, blue, and white are my choices here. So from what obviously I've got blue and white. I'll take a peek. Why not? Don't have too many though. See now this is a good one because I'm going tricolour. Like if I was only going dual, or if I was going single, you'd never want to take this. Because it is just, I'm pretty sure it is just giving a threshold, like you're not gaining the resource. I'm not 100% certain on that. If it does give you a resource when it enters play, well that's an amazing card. They're not pretty much always be picking it. But I think it's just threshold. Because of the fact that it is using the symbol, so I think it is just threshold. But because I am going try, that is useful, so I will take that. And then you can also, because you do get that effect when it comes into play, and you won't lose that effect. Then, say you draw a resource the next turn, and you've got no plays, so you've got all these resources, you can then just sacrifice this to draw another card. So, yeah, that's pretty nice. So I'll take that. Next pack, nothing I can really use because of the colours I've picked. So we'll just go for a denial here. So I'll actually deny this. Actually, let's have a look here. There's 3 here that I'm thinking of denying. So you got the Witch that could kill one of your troops. You got this that could kill a troop. Like for example, it could kill my Kraken Guard. He's only a 1/1. You could get killed by that, or the Bombsmith could even kill it. So that's a tricky one. I'll just deny this one. Either way, either 3 of those probably would have been valid denial. I'll take this guy again. He is a fairly costly card, but I wouldn't take more than 2 of him though, definitely not, especially with try. And yeah, my other choices here aren't that great. This guy's not too bad actually, because you can just keep increasing him. So actually I might take this guy here. Yeah, why not? I'll take the Hunter pack. It's not too great, but it's not too bad. If you get him, and you've got no other players, you can just go, I'll give him some more damage in life. I'll take the sapphire ore here. I'll take the peak, so I'm not going to take any more than that though for the peaks. But see, in a tricolour deck, peak, it's not too bad because I can look at the top. Oh, actually, it's not too great because of the fact that it is equal to the amount of sapphire threshold. So, you know, I might not get to look at many of the cards. So I might not actually take that just because of the fact of I'm not going to get much effect out of it with tricolour. So one's probably enough. I will just deny the Mortar Strike, I think. I could take this, I guess, but again, tricolour, so he's not going to get very much effect. So yeah, I'll just take that. And I'll take another hunting pack. And another captain. Let's see what we get. This is the next set of packs. Chaos Key, that's not too bad. It is a rare. That's basically comes into play, and then when you've got fire, so if you get this on turn 2 and you put it into play, you know, you're not going to be able to do anything with it for a few more turns. Then when you do get 5 resources, you'll be able to basically void any target card along with this. So it's a very good removal in the fact that it can remove anything. So troops or constants or what have you. Can't remove resources though. There's not really. I think I've seen one card that has some sort of resource removal from your opponents in Hex. So luckily they're not doing too much resource removal because in Magic it wasn't very fun, especially if you're getting mana screwed and then they start getting destroyed as well. It's just makes for a pretty bad experience. So let's see what else we have here. I will take the Chaos Key here. Because even if you do get it late in the game, you could, if it's later on, it's likely that you'll be able to play it and then use it straight away if needed. And it's always, a very good removal, as I said, because it does do anything. So I will take that. Of Oblivion, pretty nice rare. It is blood, however, so I'm not going to be able to, unless I go for 4 colours. Nah, obviously not. Got 2 pretty good choices here for Diamond. We've got the Repel or the Blinding Light. Now the Blinding Light is preventing all combat damage or all damage that would be dealt to you and your troops you control this turn. So this could really change the whole game by itself, because say you've got 4 troops in play and your opponent's got 4 troops, but his troops are all stronger, so he's like, oh, I'll just attack. You could then play this, for example, block with your troops, say maybe double block 2 of his to ensure that you kill them, and then he thinks, oh, you're going to lose your troops as well, but then you play this and you keep all your troops and he loses 2. So instead of him, for example with Repel, you can only just take out 1. Whereas this, if you use it correctly, you could completely just take out a bunch of his troops and lose nothing. So probably the better pick here. It's a quick action as well. So I would pick this one over the Repel, just for the sheer fact that it has a lot more uses than the Repel. So you can use it to save yourself, you can use it to take something out, and all that sort of good stuff. So I'll take that. Next pack, got a Murder there. Pity I can't really smash it. There's a Conky Bunny. Yeah, there is that Murder, so that's tricky. I think I will just deny the Murder here, since it is a very good removal. And then hopefully something comes around, like I'm pretty sure I'll get something that's half decent come back to me, like maybe the Oracle Song. I really doubt the Conky Bunny will come back, maybe even the Charge or the Oracle Song. I'll be happy with either of those to come back to me. So we'll deny that. Tricky choice here. Buccaneer or the Inner Conflict. Let's have a look what we've got. I think I'm going to have to take the Inner Conflict. Yeah, I'll take it. I would really like to have him, because I don't really have too many troops. Well, I mean, I've got a decent amount so far, I guess. So yeah, I'll take the Inner Conflict. Oh, that's good. There's another one. It's also a Clergyman though, which is pretty nice as well, because he's an Inspire troop. which is something I mentioned before about the Hydra. If I could get that Hydra into play with a bit more health to begin with, this is something this guy would do, because he is a 3 cost, so anything that's 3 or higher coming into play will get +1/+1. So that would apply to this guy, it would apply to the Mirror Knight, the Buccaneer, the Captain, but yeah, he's a pile of crap. And then yeah, it would even apply to those. So tricky choice. I think I'll take the Clergyman here. Unlikely I'll get this back coming around, but oh well. It's a tricky one. Either one would be a good choice. This is probably... I'll just take the Clergyman. Alright, so I'm starting to get more diamond than blue and green here, so... Well, looks like I'm going to get another diamond. Yeah, I'll take the repel. This is not... Look, this is an alright card, because whenever you gain health you'll get permanent +1/+1 for him. But I don't really have any way of gaining health yet. So there's really nothing that's going to synergize with. So no need to really pick him up. But yeah, they don't really have any other valid choices for the colours I'm going here, so I think I'll just deny the Bombsmith, just because I do have, well, I don't really have too many that it could take out, but yeah, that's a tricky one actually. Yeah, I will just deny it, just because I probably will end up with some more weaker dudes. Bugger, I'm not really getting the colours, am I? another repel. I'm just going to be killing everything, and the problem at the moment is I'm not going to really have to kill them. Like, I do have some units, but nothing too fantastic. But yeah, I will take the repel. This is not... it's not too bad, but yeah, it's... I need some more low cost. I will take the flyer here. Some more different colours going. Back, bloody hell. Another repel. How many repels? I gotta get 3 of them. Man, I'll take it anyway. Why not? Stops my opponents from using them against me. I'll take a charge. Combat trick. Oh, I'm getting more diamonds. This is crazy. So much diamond. I guess that's one of the problems of going tricolour. You know, you could just get... It's not too bad though, because as I said, I am only just sticking to the two threshold, so that's not too bad. But yeah, this guy here I'll take because it's not bad. It just keeps getting stronger if you don't use it. So the longer you just have it sitting there on play, on the board, it will just keep getting bigger each turn. And then when it is big enough, you can just swing and do some massive damage. Or they have to use a removal to get rid of it because it becomes too big of a threat. And this game just loves giving me white, doesn't it? All the diamond cards. Deny that. Blah. Oh, Comet Strike, yay, cough. No, that's crap. Very bad card for limited. Got some good choices here. I will take the counter magic here. You know, I want to get a bit more blue and green if I can. So yeah, the murder's obviously another nice one, but the counter magic is just as good. In some situations, maybe even better. A bunch of nice cards in this pack there. You got burn, you got murder, counter magic, repel. But yeah, I clearly have plenty of repels already, so counter magic is a nice one. General's 10. Now I can't remember this one. Let's have a look at it. It's an artifact, 2 cost. When it enters play, you secretly choose one of the following plans. So this is something you really only get to do in... Well, I mean, you could do it in a physical environment. You'd have to write it down or something and then reveal what you wrote down later on to your opponents if you were playing in a physical environment. But obviously, being a digital-only game, things like this is child's play for Hex. So you pick a secret, basically secretly pick something, so you can assassination, invasion, or trap. So you can pick one of those. So for example, the way it works is you pick from either of those three, and then you pay 3 to add a preparation counter to the artifact, and then once you remove 3 preparation counters from this artifact, your plan will go into effect. So if you chose assassination, you'll do 10 damage to target champion. So that's definitely not insignificant. That is a lot of damage. You got invasion, where it creates 3 warbots and puts them into play. So invasion's not too great. That's kind of, I mean, it'd be good for artifact decks, but in limited play, not that great. Obviously, I would probably, it's all obviously going to be depending on the situation. So if you're in a game and you're against, the board is not looking in your favour, they've got like several troops on play and you've only got a couple, you could, for example, choose trap, so that once you've removed those 3 preparation counters, which will take you 3 turns, because you have to tap the card when you add a preparation counter. So it is sort of tricky to, if you want to be playing cards at the same time as adding preparation counters, it's going to be tricky early game, but the payoff is pretty nice. So yeah, you could destroy all attacking troops. That is pretty amazing. So if the board state is pretty bad, you could just, pick that, and then they're like, well, do I attack? Because he's just, got 3 counters on his thing. So if he did choose trap, I am going to lose everything. So, that makes your opponent think twice. Dealing 10 damage, that could just win you the game alone. If you've been doing well, you could just finish off your opponent. They're creating 3 warbots, and they're coming into play, and they're also coming into play exhausted, so tapped. So that's, to me, is pretty meh compared to the other 2. And then after you've used it, it lets you choose a new plan as well, so it keeps its effectiveness going throughout the whole game. So you could, if you want, choose assassination again and finish them off. If you can just stall out the game. So a very good card for, if you can just keep the game stalled. Which, considering what I've got so far, it's probably something I could do very well. Got many ways to just keep killing their troops, and I would really like to take the counter magic, but I will take the tent here, because I think this deck would work rather well in stalling. So if I was to draw it early, yeah, it's a tricky one. Because it is not exactly easy to play though. Like I said, if you do draw early, you have to use your resources to add those counters. So yeah, if you're up against someone very aggressive deck, then it could be nasty. But I will take it. Why not? Alright, next deck. Got a shield trainer, which is nice because he's only at 2 costs, so it gives all your guys 2 cost or higher steadfast, which just means whenever they attack, they won't tap or exhaust, so they can then be used to block the next, on your opponent's turn and so on. So that's pretty nice. Like for example, you could attack and then use like an activated ability on something after attacking, and then tap that creature. So it gives you options. I do have a lot of diamond, but oh well. Let's get another one. Counter magic, yeah, we'll take that for sure. That's pretty nice, but yeah, I don't have many shooting here. Boulder Brute's pretty good as well, but it's only a minor socketable for a 5 cost. But not too bad. Obviously the counter magic though is the best pick here for me. So we'll take that. Not really doing much with this green, am I? So I mean, if I wanted to, I could just be like stuff. I probably will just try and make a blue diamond deck from here on, because I'm not really getting anything that makes it worthwhile splashing green. I mean, yeah, I mean these 3, like this card's okay, but it's nothing too, like the Hydra, which was the first pick. I haven't really got anything else really afterwards. So I probably will end up making, if I was to be making a deck afterwards, I would probably just make a diamond sapphire. But yeah, that could change. There's still cards to become, so oops, scrolling the wrong one there. So there's still, it's not too many, but there is still probably this, the amount of cards we can see here. That's probably the amount of picks I got left, I think. So from this pack, we'll take the I got so much removal and oh well. Another Buccaneer. Yeah, I'll take him. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll take another Clergyman because I do have the troops that I do have are generally 3 or higher, so that's pretty nice. So I still don't have another way to gain life, so taking this guy here is pretty useless. Obviously there is this card here, but that's just one source, and that's not a great pick in limited as well. I mean, it's not too bad, but all it does is give you health. So if you're in trouble, you're still going to be in trouble unless it gives you enough time to stall out. But yeah, I will deny this because that is a nice combat trick. Swift Strike being giving the creature it gets attached to, or put on, it will give it the ability to attack first, so kill the creature for free basically, if used correctly. So I'll deny that. Another repel. So many. It's pretty crazy. I might actually take it just because, I might not run 5 repels for example, but just to stop again my opponents from using them against me. Actually, you know what? I'll get some card draw because I am in Sapphire, so I might just take this guy because I don't really have many 1-drops, and that way I will actually be able to gain some health every time a creature comes into play. If I was to get him early, if that other white comes back to me, then I could, that's something that will synergize together. I'll get rid of the combat trick again. I'll take another one if we get that white guy back, which I don't think we will. Nah, doesn't look like it's going to happen. Nah, so we didn't, but we got a couple of 1-drops which give us some health when other units come into play, so it's not too bad. So yeah, that was the end of that. So yeah, my plan to go tricolour didn't really work. I ended up getting more reds than I did green, so obviously after that I would make a diamond sapphire deck. And yeah, as you can see, I didn't get a single card that was more than two threshold. That's generally from a lot of the cards we've seen in the game. There's really not much that is more than 2 thresholds, so it does allow for easy colour splashing. I could still probably get away if I wanted to do tricolours, just there's no real benefit of doing it here. So yeah, I would just go for the diamond sapphire there from that draft, so that's that. If you guys watching have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. I might just take a break for a bit. And probably do some more, maybe some more Draft Simulator later. And then yeah, later this month I will be, Hex, the alpha will start for those that did the Kickstarter for Hex. I'll bring that up really quick. So let me zoom out. So yeah, I'll show you guys the Kickstarter, what that was. So yeah, they had their Kickstarter back in, I think it was June 7th it finished. So whoops, I've zoomed out too far. So yeah, they reached their goal quite easily. But yeah, so the alpha for everyone who did back the Kickstarter, which was over 20,000 I think, with their PayPal donations and Slacker backers, which you can still get on their website, which is excuse me, hextcg.com. They've got the Slacker back option here on the front page, just underneath the video. So yeah, there's a video here that shows you. There's a lot of different videos around, and they've even got a Twitch channel, HexTCG, on Twitch, that will show you them playing the game, like the developers. But yeah, they've got the Slacker backer option, which is the only option available to get into the alpha. Basically, it's something they added after the Kickstarter ended, so people still had an option of basically pre-ordering the game, getting some benefits. So you'll get the alpha, which is probably in the next 2 weeks. Will be before the month ends. So that's going to be awesome, because the alpha will actually run for probably several months. 2 to 3 months is my estimate. And then basically during the alpha's time, what they're going to do is give basically everyone playing 4 of every card, so that way you can basically deck build like to your heart's content, and just find out the good synergies and good decks, and do all that sort of stuff. Set up your guilds as well in the alpha, which I have a guild, so I might as well plug it. Why not? So my guild is called Elementary. So here's the website here, elementary.engine.com. So we're primarily Oceanic, but we do have members from all over the world. I think we're over 100 members at the moment, and always growing. And when the alpha starts, that's just going to get bigger and bigger. So we got the forums, and you can come and talk to other people, and so that's the guild, Elementary there. So like I said, primarily Oceanic. So when the alpha starts, I'll be setting up the guild and inviting people in, and then we can all build decks together. And there's a guild bank in the game. I don't know if that'll be in the alpha. Most likely will be, and that way you can basically build a deck during the alpha, and then show your guild mates and say, can you give me some tips on this, and they can try it out and they can play with it, and then leave notes basically on the deck, and that way they might say, this worked well but this didn't, and so on. So the alpha is going to be a pretty good time. They're also going to be adding different features in during the alpha, so there will be for example, the ability to draft as much as you want, which is what I just did with the draft simulator there. That's one of the big advantages of getting to the alpha, is the ability to draft as much as you want when they add that, which I don't think will be too late into the alpha, probably maybe a week after or something, because that is something, that's a big thing. That's one of the funnest ways to play a TCG, is to draft. And that's basically got 8 players in the draft. And you're passing, you're all bring 3 packs of cards, and you pass the packs around after you pick one card until there's no cards remaining from all packs, and it's very fun. You then build a deck, just like I just did. I went the Diamond Sapphire in what you've just seen, and then you from those cards that was listed, you build the best deck you can, and then you play against the other people who in the same boat as you. They've all picked cards and built a deck, and then you see who comes out on top. It's a lot of fun, and being able to do that as much as you want in the alpha is quite invaluable, because not only will you gain good knowledge over what works and what doesn't, a lot of experience, and that just when the game does actually launch, or the beta starts, because the beta is basically going to be sort of like a soft launch where people will be able to start buying packs of cards, and basically a launch. They're not going to call it the official launch, but it's basically is, because all the Kickstarter rewards and stuff, all this sort of good stuff here. You've got loads of it. I'll scroll down. So you got, for example, there's the pro player tier. So people who back that, like I was one of them. I got the pro player. So I actually got 3 of them. So this is one of the most popular tiers. This was, because you're getting you get a lot of packs of cards, you get a lot of exclusive stuff, and but the biggest thing with this tier that made it so popular was it gets 1 free draft each week for life of the game. So that's normally a draft you have to bring in 3 packs of cards and pay like $1, I think it is. Obviously in the alpha it's all free, nothing you have to pay for in the alpha. But once the game does launch, or the beta starts and all this stuff is given out, that's when you would normally have to start paying for the drafting or whatnot. So I'll have some free drafts I can do, and that's a good thing for the community as well. I mean, you might look at it and go, I wish I could have got that, but you've missed out on the Kickstarter, so you don't really have the option. But it also does ensure that there's already a big community behind the game, over 20,000 backers already, plus all the Slacker backers and all that sort of stuff. But it also does ensure that you could be on a bus or a train or at home on your computer, whatever, playing on your tablet or computer, And anytime you want to get into one of the drafts, there's always going to be games happening because there's already a lot of people who have got these free drafts to use, especially in the first year of the game, because all the $250 tiers or above have a free draft. Some of them for life, some of them just for the first year. So it will ensure that there is always games happening for people who love to draft, which I'm one of them. So yeah, that's going to be great. Then obviously with the game you've also got PvE, which is completely free to play. I don't think they're going to have that in the alpha. Who knows? They probably will give. They probably will give a few dungeons to try out. I think there's going to be actually an arena thing that they did mention a while back. That will probably be in the alpha, is my guess. The arena thing to test out, to give people an idea of how the PvE stuff works. But yeah, so this here, I sort of was going to talk about it and then just went off on all sorts of different stuff. But basically, the Slacker Backer gets you 25 booster packs. So that normally alone would cost you $50. Obviously, if you were to buy packs off the auction house, you might be able to get them a bit cheaper than the normal $2 from Cryptozoic, because there will be a pretty big influx of booster packs at the start of the game. But that's good value, and then you get 2 months of VIP. This is an optional program which people can subscribe to, and that's $4 a month, but it gets you 1 pack a week. For normally this is $4 a month, you're going to get 2 months of it, so you're going to get 8 packs from that. Then if you want, you can keep the subscription going, I guess, or sign up for it, because it is $1 a pack basically. You can only sign up for it, you can't have multiple accounts just to keep getting $1 packs. That is something they have said they're not going to allow, because that is basically gaming the system to get cheap packs. So it's a good program. Ensures that everyone can get some cheap packs, even if it's just 1 a week, you're saving 50%. So yeah, you're getting those. You get the starter deck. You also get another free starter deck, but the free starter deck you gain on every account creation cannot be traded, whereas the starter deck from this, that one will be tradable, whereas the free one won't be. So if you don't like the starter deck, you can maybe trade it off to people or sell it on the auction house to get some platinum or gold, all that sort of stuff, or even trade for PvE stuff if you want more of that. You also get see in the Kickstarter there was a lot of promo cards that are given out, so I'll scroll down again, have a quick look. Maybe I need to scroll a bit further. So yeah, there's a lot of promo cards, like you got some exclusive stuff here, and mainly just a lot of it is alternate art stuff, like this one here. Just means the image is different from the normal versions of the card. You get a few exclusive PvE cards and whatnot. So they didn't really give out anything that's going to give anyone advantage in PvP. So that's a good thing. But they did give out, with this Slacker Backer, because they can't obviously just say, oh, well, we'll just give you everything we had in the Kickstarter, because that devalues, and basically all these people that supported early, who helped the game basically get finished, wouldn't be too happy if they just kept offering it. It's like, what's the point of it backing early when there was no guarantee of anything? But yeah, so they are giving a couple of cards here. I'll quickly show them. This one's actually pretty funny. If you do have a look at the Kickstarter page, if you watch the video here at the top, it's a pretty funny video, and that's where this card comes from, because Princess Corey Jones is the CCO of Cryptozoic Entertainment, and so in the video he basically dresses up similar to this, and that's why they've then made this funny card. It's a PvE only card, as denoted by the orange, and I'm not too sure, this maybe that symbol as well, but the orange does mean it is PvE. So it's just it's a pretty fun card. I think cards like this, there are a bunch of cards like this where they just do random things, and it could be the most amazing thing you've ever seen. The effect that say you do 7 damage with this card, and all 7 random troops come into play. You could have some really funny results, or just something really awesome happens, and it's something you can then tell your mates about. Oh, last night this happened, and so on and so forth. Because the random elements to some of the cards, like even the next card here, is another one like that. You're creating a random card and you're putting it into this chest, and then you basically pay X and sacrifice the artifact, and then you put them into your hand, and yeah, so you're just going to be pumping out random cards basically. and that, it's an exciting premise, just for PvE. Any crazy sort of funny stuff could happen, and who knows? And you also get an art book and stuff, which is a PDF. But yeah, so it's definitely worth it, even just for the alpha alone, because of what I said before. You are going to be getting a lot of experience, especially in the drafting, and just being basically ready for when the game launches. You'll be a bit of a leg up over everyone who was new to the game. You'll have that experience behind you and a bit more knowledge, so you could jump into a draft straight away and potentially win some packs straight up, and all that sort of good stuff. So yeah, I recommend it to anyone who is even remotely interested in the game. It is only $50, and if you then do decide after playing the game launches, you decide, well, wasn't really my cup of tea, you could then just potentially sell the stuff on the auction house and maybe get some platinum, and then you've got a mate who's still playing the game, so here you go, mate, have the platinum, and maybe they buy you lunch on Sunday or whatever. But yeah, I'm pretty sure, to me, it looks like an amazing game. You go to their website, check out all the different stuff. They've got loads of information, all different articles showing off different cards. You can also go to hex-datamine.com. That site has pretty much it's a fan site where they've collected all the different cards that have been revealed, and champions and mercenaries, and put it all in one place, so it's easy to look at all the cards. But yeah, if you haven't played a TCG before, I would recommend trying it out. It is only $50. But yeah, and if you don't want to back it, if you're still not sure, check out my streams later on this month, and I'll be playing it, pretty much 24/7. I'm a giant nerd. All I do is play games, so I'll be playing it, pretty much non-stop, as much as I can. Bar sleep, wake up, play some more. So I'll be streaming as soon as the alpha starts. So be sure to check that out. And then if it, that way you get more of an idea, because obviously I can't show the game yet, and I can only do the drafting simulator as I was doing before. But yeah, we'll be doing actual games and deck building and drafting and all that good stuff. So that will be later this month. And I think that's enough yabbering on from me, so I'll leave it there. Hopefully you guys weren't too bored to death from what I've had to say and whatnot. So yeah, I will catch you all later. Thanks for watching. See ya.